last top 10 ASMR video, which is the top 10 point guards in the NBA this upcoming season. This one is probably the most recommended one. Everyone kept asking for this one, so I'm gonna give you guys, best for last. So make sure you guys slap a like on this video. Let's try to get this video to 100. Yes, 100 likes. Spread some love. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And yeah, if you like the content, make sure to obviously like the video. Subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of obviously basketball talking, but also gaming, regular ASMR content, role plays, things like that on this channel. So if you are interested, make sure you slap a like and subscribe to the channel. Is there anything I need to say? Yesterday I did post a video. I think I've posted like 15 or 16 videos in a row, so I've definitely been very tired. So I don't know if I'm gonna take like a break at some point because I don't know. I've just been really focusing on YouTube a lot, and it's been really taking up a lot of my time. So I might take a break here sometime soon. I'm not even entirely sure. So I guess we'll have to see, because it's definitely getting tiring. That's for sure. But anyways, I posted a video on what NBA teams have the most to prove this next season. The day before, I posted what players, so specifically players. Yesterday's video was the teams in general have the most to prove. So that was a lot of fun to film. You guys got involved in that video, and I really do appreciate all you people who comment down below on my previous video on that. It helped me out with that video, so thank you guys so much for that. But yeah, other than that, I guess we can just jump right into the top 10 point guards in the NBA. Alrighty, counting down from number 10 is a point guard who is not my favorite, but is, I think, a very underrated player, and a lot of people love this player, and he's very good analytically. But at number 10, I have Kyle Lowry from the Toronto Raptors. I know that may be even low to some people who are very much into like analytical basketball and how much he means to the Toronto sort of offense and organization. He is tremendous for the Toronto Raptors, don't get me wrong, but in my opinion, if Kyle Lowry was on any other team, he would be a very decent point guard for sure, a very good one, but the Raptors really know how to use him to his full potential, and that's why I have him at number 10. Kyle Lowry is definitely a player that can get you, 20 points and 10 assists in any other game. He's definitely a very, 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 very valuable asset to the Toronto Raptors. He's averaged the past season 19 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 7.5 assists. That's where he mostly comes in value, is his sort of floor general type of play. Very smart, high IQ player. Definitely not going to be the fastest or quickest or the best shooter on the floor, but he's definitely a very smart and crafty player, which makes him a very dangerous one as well. Let's take a deep dive into his more critical stats here. He averaged almost 1.5 steals a game, 85% from the free throw line, and 35% from 3, which is pretty decent. 41% from the field goal range, doing this with 36 minutes per game. So as you can see, it's not like he's doing all these in like 30 minutes, 33 minutes. This is 36 minutes per game, which is usually what you want to see, a very high volume player. Kyle Lowry really isn't that, so that's where I sort of rank him a little bit lower. Also, not very athletic, rank him a little bit lower. He's 6 foot, rank him a little bit lower. So he is an undersized guard who isn't very fast or very athletic, but he's very crafty and very smart. He's always been, one of the top guards in the NBA for sure, and usually always on a really good team, dating all the way back to the days with DeMar DeRozan, obviously in Toronto, battling out with LeBron James. So I really like Kyle Lowry. He's a very reliable player, but can you rank him any higher than the players I'm about to say? Probably not. And it's going to be very interesting to see how well he does this year, now that the Raptors are very stagnant. I didn't really see them get any better than the previous year, 2019-2020. So in the 2020-2021 year, can they make a really good adjustment and make another jump to get over teams who have because obviously Chris Paul last year really told off all the sort of critics and haters. I wasn't one of them, obviously, but we really didn't see Chris Paul turning into what Chris Paul did for the Thunder. We were all hoping that Chris Paul would get traded or bought out in order to, get to a winning team, but he turned the Oklahoma City Thunder into a winning team. He averaged 17.6 points per game, 1.5 steals, almost 7 assists, and 5 rebounds per game. 90% free throw shooting as well, which is absolutely crazy for Chris Paul. 36.5% on threes, and for, oh god, where did it go? For free field goal percentage, it was nearly 50. It was 48%. So he shot really well. He played really well. He played really good defense. He was the floor general for that team. He carried basically that team to the playoffs. Obviously, there was a lot of good core guys with him, like Shea and Steven Adams and Gallinari, and a lot of decent role players. A good coach, but man, now that he's with the Phoenix Suns, he will be with a very ball dominant guard. And when Chris Paul was with James Harden, it worked very well, and it was really good. But it was very arguable where Chris Paul was in the sort of top 10 ranking for point guards. I think he probably still was, but probably is still lower down the list. And now that he's with another sort of higher end guard like Devin Booker is, like James Harden was, I feel like it's going to hurt him in that sort of sense of just singularity, being a top 10 point guard. But he's going to have a great season. I think he's still going to average between 15 and 20 points per game, between 5 and about 8 or 9 assists a game. I think he's going to still average over a steal a game for sure. So he's probably going to be consistent from last year, or at least maybe even a little bit of a dip. I like Chris Paul at anywhere between 10 and 8. I think that's a really good spot for him. But man, I mean, obviously Chris Paul is an amazing player, and he really shocked a lot of people. But I'm going to be very interested to see, how well he does individually. But I think team-wise, he's going to do very well with the Suns. All right, so like I said, Chris Paul at number 9 is a good spot for him, but he could definitely jump up. But this player at number 8 is one that I really want to put higher. Like, I really do. You guys have no idea how much I want to put this player up higher. I am very high on this player. One day he's going to be one of the best point guards in the NBA for sure. Maybe sooner rather than later, in my opinion. He has great defense, a really great offense, if game, but there are other players who are better at offense, better at being a floor general, and I think being a point guard, that is a more valuable asset than just being a good scorer and a good defender at a young age. So, at number 8, I'm going to put Morant at number 8. Now, that's a tough one, and I think I may be also doing it because he is a younger player, obviously coming off of a Rookie of the Year season. Putting him anywhere above, Chris Paul and Kyle Lowry is a lot to say, but I think, again, going into not, what I thought about them from past year, this, that, the other in the bubble, it doesn't matter. Coming into next season, I think he will make a nice jump with a better jump shot. I think he will be a better floor general. I think he'll be a better defender. He's going to be a smarter kid. And I really hope he uses all of his assets around him. Having a really decent team now with Jaren and Brandon Clark and Dylan Brooks and, their squad, using them a little bit better and a little bit smarter. Maybe even making a push into the playoffs this next season. So I have Ja Morant at number 8. Let's see where Ja Morant averaged his rookie year. His rookie year, he averaged nearly 18 points per game, 4 rebounds and 7 assists. Being a 6'3" guard, being very athletic, being one of the most explosive dunkers that we've seen in a while, obviously besides your boy Russell Westbrook. But if you look at his per 36 stats, they're 21 points, a steal, 8.5 assists, and 5 rebounds a game. That's per 36. That's pretty crazy. How many minutes did he actually average this past season? He only averaged barely 30 minutes a game this last season, so I think he probably will get more playing time now that he's not so much of a rookie young player. I think he will get more playing time for sure, especially if next season. And again, a better three-point shot. He only averaged 33% from last year. I think if he could bump that up anywhere to between 35%, I think that'd be absolutely perfect for him. 78% of a free throw shooter, so his free throw game is good. So that means you gotta match it up with his perimeter shooting. If he can get his perimeter shooting up to, where his free throw is, I think that'd be very, very perfect. That's really, you can really tell who is a good shooter is by free throw percentage, because that's a very consistent thing that happens over and over and over and over again. And also 47% from the field goal. So he shoots very efficiently. He scores very efficiently. He's a great finisher, great dunker. He sees the floor very well. But again, I want to put him higher. But again, this is going to be his second year. I see him making a jump, but not like an extreme jump where he can be like, a top 5 point guard or something like that. Obviously, if it's like a fantasy draft, yeah, I'm going to take him because he's a younger player. But in this sense, if we're talking about better players, I think there are better point guards who see the game better, slow the game down better. And I think as a point guard, that's a little bit more important than just being an explosive guard. So with that being said, I think Ja anywhere between 8 and 6, I feel like are really good, solid spots for him. But anything higher than that, that's probably kind of crazy. But I really, really love Ja's game. Okay, so like I said, players 8, Ja, and the next players I'm going to name off are very close. These are guys you can flip and flop around anywhere you want to. But at number 7, I have Mr. Cardiac Kemba Walker himself at number 7. This one's really tough because I think Kemba is an amazing offensive player and can get, 40 points any given night he wants to. He's a good assist guy. He looks out for his teammates a lot. And, his PER is also really good. The team uses him in a very effective way, obviously being on the Boston Celtics where he's probably some days maybe even the third option between him, Jalen, and Jason Tatum. So, with that being said, it's really hard to put him above Ja, but again, I feel like he's probably a better floor general than Ja. He's an older player than Ja. He's been showing it more than Ja. He's playoff proven, I guess you could say as well. So I'm gonna give the nod to Kemba Walker over Ja, even though it's probably dumb, but hey, my opinion doesn't matter. He averaged 20 points per game, 4 assists and 5 assists. 5 assists and 4 rebounds, sorry. And a PER of 20, which is pretty decent. If you look at more of his other stats, he also averaged a steal a game, 86% from the free throw line, 38% from the three-point line. Again, something I really value in a point guard is having the ability to score from anywhere, making it easier on your teams. And a shot 43% for the field goal. So, I feel like Kemba is just a very consistent player. He's averaged over 20 points per game for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5 seasons straight. So that's amazing. I love that. He also averaged nearly 26 per game the year before when he was with Charlotte, 26 points per game. So he definitely has a great ability to be able to put on a very big show. But obviously, we'd love to see Kemba do it at a more higher level. Obviously, in the playoffs last year, he very much got cold and kind of referred to Jason Tatum, even though the reason why he was with the Boston Celtics in the first place is because they needed more help for playoff runs like that. So that was pretty sad that didn't really work out. But I really, really, really enjoy Kemba Walker's game. I think he still can be a top guard, but a lot of these guards I'm going to be naming off future-wise are just super raw, athletic, amazing point guards, floor generals, shooters. They have everything. And although Kemba is an amazing point guard, I don't think he's really up to that level. So I think this spot is really good for Kemba. You can have him over Ja, under Ja. You can have him anywhere between him, at least in my opinion, in the top 10 point guard range, between 8 and 6. Again, I think that's a very good spot for him. So Kemba, an amazing point guard. I think 7 is a very favorable spot in my opinion. And next up we have number 6. Number 6 is again another younger player, but I feel like, just like what I said about Ja, he's going to have a very big jump, especially with the team he has now, very much more equipped and built around him. I think not only with team success is going to raise him in a lot of people's eyes for being one of the best guards in the NBA, but his own game I think will take another big jump, and that is Trae Young at number 6. That might be kind of high, and I think it might be. But again, going into next season, I think he's gonna make a nice little adjustment. He averaged the fourth highest scoring total in the NBA last year, 29.6. Let's round that boy up to 30. 30 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists. Second to only LeBron James in assists. PER, top 10, 23.9. Round that boy up to 24. That is absolutely amazing. Now, obviously when Trae Young isn't on the floor, the Atlanta Hawks are dog duty, but they fixed that by getting a very smart, high IQ player in Rajon Rondo. So now when Trae Young is not in the game, you have a high IQ point guard with a high IQ point guard. I think the Atlanta Hawks are going to be very steady this year. I'm obviously going to be doing a sort of playoff prediction video when the NBA season starts up again around December 10th-ish to the 22nd. I'm going to obviously be posting a video on that sometime between there, so make sure you guys look out for that. But he averaged 36% from 3, 86% for the free throw line, a steal a game as well, which is absolutely crazy, 44% from the field. I really like Trae Young's game. Like I said before, he's probably going to be the next sort of great pure point guard, like a Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Steve Nash type of player, where he's going to be using a lot of his tricks, mind sort of things, where he's going to be having to be a very good passer, facilitator, floor general type of player, not just like a, Russell Westbrook or John Morant, where they're going to just be dominating by their own athleticism. He's going to be using his smarts a lot more, which I hope he does. I think it's going to favor him a lot more in the NBA. So, going into next season, having another year under his belt, being a smarter player with a better team, the dude averaged 30 points per game last year, and he's going to only get better. So, even if that does dip to like a 25 point per game, even a 23 point per game, as long as they're winning basketball games and he's still facilitating the way he did last year, I don't see how the Hawks are in the playoffs. And if the Hawks make the playoffs because of Trae Young, I think he deserved to be at least number 6, in my opinion. Obviously, the biggest knock on him is his defense, which is why he's not a sort of a top 5 type of point guard, or if you could even want to rank other players above him, I would totally understand that. But I think the lack of defense he does give, he makes it up for in a lot of other ways, like being one of the best shooters in the NBA, being a great facilitator, very good IQ, court vision, and is still only going to continue to do better. And plus, you can hide defense nowadays, like Steph and Dame and a lot of other point guards who aren't that great on defense. You can hide them, so you do that with Trae Young. He's still an amazing player, so it doesn't really matter. So I think this is a really safe and good spot for Trae Young next season. Okay, so right now we are cracking into the top 5 point guards. In my opinion, again, my opinion doesn't matter, but it's just my opinion. But at number 5 is a player who, I think is going to make a nice big jump this next season, and that is the point guard for the Philadelphia 76ers, and that's Ben Simmons. Now, he probably plays more power forward in like a rotation, but he is the ball-dominant handler, and he probably is going to be the point guard for them, but isn't just going to be, the power forward. I think he's probably going to start at power forward or small forward, but he will be being the point guard, if that makes any sense. He's also listed as a point guard on ESPN, so he averaged this past season 16 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists, almost a triple-double, which is pretty impressive, and 20.5 PER, which is better than Kemba Walker, so that makes a lot more sense. Now you could be seeing these stats and thinking, ASMballeR, why would you have him so high? Not only is this man a 6'10", listed right here, a 6'10", 240 point guard, amazing court view, he also is probably one of the best defenders in the NBA when he wants to be. He averaged 2 steals, almost a block as well. Like I said, 8 rebounds, which is crazy for a point guard. And I really, really love to see his game progress. Obviously, being a 60% field goal percent shooter, scorer. Let's not say shooter yet, but I really love his defensive game. And he's very smart. Obviously, he's not playing against a lot of the point guards because obviously, like I said, he probably plays a lot more of the forward spot on defense. But even then, he's guarding the team's best player. He's definitely their best perimeter defender. So he's definitely going to be guarding the Kawhis, Paul George, LeBrons of the world. And I think he handles his own pretty well. And I love to see his game progress progress even more with the three-point shot, which we all know about. His three-point shot needs to improve, and I think it will. He averaged nearly 30% this year, so if that can even bump up a little bit higher to like 33, 32, as long as he improves on it and isn't afraid of taking a shot, I think that will be very favorable to his own sort of game, but also the game of the Philadelphia 76ers, not having to just worry about the newcomers of Seth Curry and Danny Green to make threes. If he can become a sort of like a Giannis three-point shooter where he can just, put up a wide open corner three, that'll be perfectly fine. So, and I feel like this next year you'll start to show it, but maybe not all the way through, but I think top 5, 6, 4 maybe is a good sort of spot for him to be this upcoming season. Okay, so now we're getting into the sort of elite group of guys, because we all know that the point guard position is probably one of the deepest in the NBA. Again, my opinion doesn't matter, but these guys you can flip-flop around anywhere you want to. This probably next 3 guys, spots 4, 3, and 2 are very flippable, and it's going to be very good, especially spots 3 and 4. But in my opinion, I think that Kyrie Irving is going to have another very strong year, but I think playing alongside Kevin Durant and a very deep team is not only going to hurt him in the sort of offensive way, but not having the ball in his hand a lot is probably going to hurt him a lot, being the singular player Kyrie Irving. So I think Kyrie is going to have probably a better season than the players I'm going to name off, but because obviously having Kevin Durant and, like I said, a deep team, he's probably going to be the best point guard on the list because he's going to have probably a lot of success coming his way next upcoming season. But I think it's going to hurt him being on such a good team. So I have Kyrie Irving at number 4 because, like I just said, because the Nets this upcoming season are going to be an amazing team. I feel like Kyrie Irving is going to have to take a very big jump backwards, sort of like how Paul George did with playing alongside of Kawhi Leonard. I think he's going to want Kevin Durant to be at his best, and for that to happen, he's going to need to play a lot of games, have the ball in his hand a lot, get sort of readjusted to the NBA style and flow, and then when that happens, you'll start maybe becoming more of the Kyrie Irving we know, where he played alongside LeBron James in the playoffs. So this past season, 2019-2020, averaged 27 points per game, 5 rebounds and 6 assists with 26 PER, which is very high. That's definitely super crazy. He also averaged almost a steal and a half a game as well, 92% from the free throw line, 39% from 3. My God. That's crazy. He did only play 20 games this year because of injury, so that's maybe also a reason why maybe you can't really rank him a lot higher, because he's not very a dependent player, but at full health and at full head of steam, this man can drop like a 60-point bomb if he wants to. Like I said, he shoots super duper efficiently. He's one of the best finishers of all time, not only in today's NBA. The man can finish any way you want to in a game of horse, This man can throw it up behind the backboard and probably throw it in, you know what I mean? So he's a great finisher, he's a great shooter, he's a great facilitator. Like I said, he averaged over 6 assists a game, I think. Yeah, over 6 assists a game. The year before, he almost averaged 7, so he sees the court very well. He's a very smart IQ player, but again, like I just said, and the reason why I didn't really rank Paul George very high on my list of small forwards, playing alongside such a great player like Kevin Durant, and also being on such a good team, a well-rounded team with Joe Harris, Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jarrett Allen, DeAndre Jordan, they're going to be deep, and he's not going to have the ball in his hand a whole lot. So I think it's going to dip him down a little bit, not being used a lot. So with that being said, I think Kyrie Irving at 4 is very good. You can maybe even push him up to number 3, but I think he's going to want Kevin Durant at his best in order to win a championship, and for that to happen, KD is going to need the ball a lot. Okay, so then that leaves 3 point guards left, which, if you are a basketball fan, you probably know who we're talking about here. And at number 3, in my opinion, is going to be this player's reckoning year, where it's going to make him or break him. But at number 3, I'm going to have to say Russell Westbrook, and I know that's probably a big surprise to a lot of you guys, because Russell Westbrook seems to be on a slight decline. But I feel like with him not having sort of high expectations here with the Houston Rockets, because a lot of people are already betting on them to be done with, trading away, they're going to be done. Just like with OKC being bet off, I think Russell Westbrook likes it when he's sort of like the underdog and no one really wants him to do a whole lot. No championship aspirations, no nothing like that. So I think I think next year we'll see a free roaming Russell Westbrook, and that's dangerous. So I'm gonna have him at number 3 to start this season. Again, this is going into this season. This is how we're going to see the entire year. But even though this past season he averaged 27 points per game, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 27th, top 27 in PER rating. So he's still a monster on offense. He is still a very good defender. But the only reason why you cannot put this man any higher, this man could definitely be the best point guard in the NBA, and he is at some points in time when he wants to be. The man sometimes thinks he shoots like Steph Curry or Damian Lillard or Trae Young. He will jack up threes for no reason. He will turn into a jump shooter at will for no apparent reason. And at some points in time, it makes me very frustrated to watch him play games. That's for sure. He also averages over a steal a game, about half a block as well. He shoots 76% from the free throw line, which is very good, but 25% from 3. And he puts up a lot. He averages almost 4 threes a game, shooting 25%. You're making 1 3 a game, so nothing super duper efficient, that's for sure. There's some games where I've seen him throw up like 7 threes a game, and he takes a lot of mid-range jumpers and a lot of pull-up free throw line shots, which is just so absurd. And that's the part where I really nag on him a lot. Sometimes he gets very full of himself, and he bets on himself a lot, which is good to have that confidence, but sometimes you need to tone it down a little bit and not jack up so many threes, in my opinion. He still averages 47% field goal percentage, which is amazing. It's still a very efficient shooting stat. So, I love me some Russell Westbrook, but the fact that he can't shoot and the fact that he does get into those zones where he just does some very questionable things. I remember in a game last year in the playoffs, he turned the ball over when he should have just took the ball to the rim. He was in a very good spot. He tried to pass out, and then the ball got turned over, and they lost the game. So, at least I think they lost the game. But yeah, it was very bad, sort of game sense, and I think he's a very smart player. I think he's a very smart player, but sometimes he gets into these sort of rhythms and flows where it's not meshing, and it gets kind of weird. So, I love Russell Westbrook. I still think he's probably a top 3 point guard in the NBA. I just read off his stats. The dude could still average a triple-double if he wanted to, so, but this, going into next year, he could definitely fall. And if the Rockets sort of get on him a lot, and he sort of gets in a bad slump, we may even see him maybe even get out of the top 5, in my opinion. But going into next season, I see him still being a very good point. And we are now on to the top 2, which, again, if you are a big basketball fan, you probably know what we're going to be talking about. And I really want to say this one guy. And not being biased about it. I could say this one guy. But this other guy is known as being one of the best point guards of all time, not only in today's NBA, but of all time. Being the best three-point shooter of all time. And not only those things, he is on a very nice rest from being a dominant dynasty team for the past 5 years. So, with that rest, I'm going to say Steph Curry is still the best point guard in the NBA, but Damian Lillard is number 2 by a smidge, by barely anything, by like a hair, because I do love, obviously, Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is probably my favorite player of all time. He is an amazing guard. He is an amazing leader. He's one of the best leaders in sports. He has a team in Portland, Oregon, constantly in the playoffs, constantly being a great team. He's in Portland, Oregon, making a humongous name for himself. And I think that's awesome for what he does for the community and how he is as a guy and a person, not only just a basketball player. And it shows that a lot with the teammates. And I think he does bring up a lot also averaged 8th in assist, which is 5th, and 20. Let's round it up to 27 PR, which is top 5 in the NBA. So definitely some crazy stats for sure. He is still a pretty athletic guard. He can get to the rim with ease. He's a lot stronger than he probably seems to be. He does boxing in the offseason. That's all I know that from. But he's a very strong player, and he can definitely get to the rim with ease. He used to be in the dunk contest. You know what I mean? He also averaged over a steal a game, 88.8% from the free throw line, and 40% from 3. And these are just toe on the line threes. These are bombs, daggers from way downtown type threes that maybe only Steph Curry can pull off. Maybe Dame is even better at it. I love watching Damian Lillard play. I think it's amazing, and I love Damian Lillard's game. And I think his team is going to also be very good this year. He might be, like I said, with Kyrie Irving, one of the best sort of record of the point guards on this list. But Damian Lillard's obviously not that great of a point guard. That great of a defending point guard. That's the way you can sort of nag on him. Sometimes he does struggle, and his team will struggle because of that. They rely on Damian so heavily, where if he has a slip of a game, they will lose no matter what. So that's also pretty bad. And also, this man has been battling for years to just make playoff spots and win, a playoff game or two. But at player 1, Steph Curry has just taken almost nearly an entire year off. I know it was because of an injury, but let's be fair. I think he probably could have come back from this injury sooner rather than later if he wanted to, but he decided to take the rest of the year off. This man's is nice and healthy with a nice team as well. So, Damian Lillard is probably 1B, but 1A right now. I'll still have to say Steph Curry is still probably the best point guard in the NBA. Let's take a look at what he averaged this past season. He averaged 21 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists at nearly 22 PER stats, which is pretty crazy. Now, this is only from Steph playing 5 games. If you want to go to the year before, Steph Curry averaged 27 points per game, over a steal a game as well, nearly 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. It's funny because it says here he shot 100% from the free throw line, but if you go to, again, the prior year where he was healthy the entire year, he averaged 92%, and again, 43.7% from 3. The prior year he was hurt, so he was bombing it. He was shooting at a very high percentage for sure, and 47% from the field as well. Steph was looking absolutely amazing the prior year. Now, again, I'm really just betting on Steph being used a lot this upcoming season, so that's why I'm sort of bumping him up in the rankings a little bit, because I think he is going to be used a whole lot now that Clay isn't around. But a super duper well rested Steph Curry, in my opinion, I feel like is going to play very amazing with a revitalized team with Oubre and Wiggins. It's a very highly offensive team, which I think is going to favor Steph Curry a lot. You can also hide Steph Curry on defense with, again, big guards and players and wings like Wiggins and Oubre. Then you have Draymond Green, who I hope will hopefully, pick up the pace a little bit now that he's on, a team again now, a pretty decent team. And you also have James Wiseman, who's going to be a right off rip, good defending big man. So you have good, defense in the interior, good wing defenders with you. I think Steph Curry is going to be profitable from that as well. I think he's still going to be shooting efficiently, even though I think he broke his hand. I think that's what happened. I think he'll be totally fine. I think he's not going to lose his a shot at all from that sort of injury. So I think as of right now, going into next season, with the well-rested Steph Curry against Damian Lillard's busted body that he needs to put on every night, will be better, I'll say, as of right now. So 1A, I got Steph Curry. 1B, I got slipped in like a De'Aaron Fox, or I'm trying to think who else could I slip in there. Probably a lot of other players I'm not thinking about right now, but yeah, I think that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting me throughout this entire sort of series I've been doing of the top 10 positions. Comment down below what other sort of top 10 videos I can do, or maybe go back on and review and do new ones of. I'll very much appreciate that. Leave a like on the video,